Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I really appreciate you guys making some time out of your day to hang out with me and watch the video. Always appreciate that. And guys, today we've got some good news. I'm going to share with you guys a press release that came out last week from the state of Mississippi. They have decided to reduce the creel limit on 4 different lakes in the state there because after a 3-year study they did on the impact that Livescope is having on the fisheries. So they said something had to be done, so we're going to get into that. I'm going to read y'all the press release here and do a little commentary afterwards, and I'd be curious to get your guys' opinion on it as well. Also, guys, before we get started here, a couple of quick housekeeping tips. Just a quick invitation: if you haven't subscribed here at Intuitive Angling, I'd like to invite everybody to do so. Just hitting that subscribe button is free and easy. Good way to help the channel out. And also a big thank you to everybody that's been taking time to use and bookmark my tackle warehouse link I put in every video description. All you dudes out there that have used and bookmarked that link to purchase your tackle, big thank you from me and my family. You're really supporting the channel, and definitely very grateful for that. Okay, guys. Granted, this is with crappie, but it's a move in the right direction. I want to read you this here, and then we're going to talk about the bigger implications with bass down the road. So, here's the release they put out. The Mississippi Commission on Wildlife, Fish, and Parks voted to reduce the daily crappie limit because of the impact Livescope is having. They said something had to be done on Enid, Grenada, Sardis, and Arcbuckle Lake because if something hadn't been done, the Livescope would have negatively affect the fisheries, in their opinion, after this 3-year study. So Keith Mills, the regional fisheries manager with the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, conducted a 3-year study and found that Livescope use had increased up to 70% on these lakes, probably more by now, and that the study revealed that the anglers were catching 2 to 3 times more fish using Livescope than the anglers not using Livescope, and they felt that that was unsustainable to the fishery, so they decided to reduce the daily limit from 15 crappie a day to 10 crappie a day, and they felt that the move was necessary to ensure the long-term sustainability of the fishery. Now, granted, this is a baby step in the right measure. It's also a half measure. Here's what we have, guys. We've known this all along. Now, this is not just with crappie. Anyone that bass fishes has seen the reduction in the fishing quality on all of our lakes over the past 2 or 3 years, just like the study has done here with Grenada Lake. I was talking to some of my buddies we fish this lake called Stockton Lake here in Missouri, and it's like, what the heck is going on the last 2 or 3 years? It's like the bass fishing has went down the toilet on Stockton Lake. It's the same reason, guys. I don't need no study like this to tell me. I know what it is. There's no other variable that is in the equation except the introduction of Livescope and the fact that, again, over 70% of the anglers are using it. So here's what you have on this thing. It's like, while this is a step in the right direction, and they're acknowledging the fact that Livescope is the culprit here, it's like, what are we doing? It's like, if this study revealed this on a microcosm, this is not just isolated to these 4 lakes in Mississippi. This is going on every lake. Because every lake that you fish in the country, the same scenario is going on. But the state conservation fisheries management are dragging their heels on this. They're late to the party. It's like, why are we taking a chance? It's like if they've determined on this 3-year study that the continued use of Livescope is unsustainable to the fisheries as far as the fishing quality, why do we even take a chance? Why isn't legislation passed down? Since Bassmaster and MLF will refuse to do the right thing, they could stop it in a second. Why haven't these fisheries managers got together and said, it's not worth it, guys. It is not worth us for us to get into a situation where we have deteriorated our fisheries through the overuse of forward-facing sonar and Livescope. It's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Here's what a lot of people don't understand. Now, this study right here was conducted 3 years ago, so even more people are using it now. As more people get Livescope forward-facing sonar, as the technology advances even more, you think this is just going to get better all of a sudden? You think all of a sudden fishing is just going to continue to be sustainable and not get better? It's not. It's going to go down the tubes with the crappie, with the bass, with the catfish, with the spoonbill. The world record spoonbill was just snagged up here at Lake of the Ozark this summer. Last spring, some dude using Livescope that snagged it. It's like, we don't need to be taking a chance. We need to be responsible, and we need to do the right thing, and we need to quit denying reality of the situation, and we need to quit being these bootlickers to these electronic companies, and we have got to get forward-facing sonar out of the hands of the recreational and tournament anglers. Forward-facing sonar and Livescope is an amazing tool, no doubt. It only needs to be in the hands of these people right here, the fisheries management. If the fisheries managers were the only ones that were allowed to use this technology to maintain and manage our fisheries, that is a great management tool. It does not need to be in the hands of, Jimmy Joe Ben Bibfrog or whatever. It doesn't need to be in the hands of tournament or sport fishermen. It is not sustainable to our fisheries. We cannot have an ever-increasing amount of anglers in this sport that have an ever-increasing level of technology at their disposal and expect our fisheries to be sustainable. If somebody can't see that, obvious reality, they are in denial of reality. They are in an information bubble. They're in an information silo. They have their heads stuck in the sand. They're irresponsible. They're not paying attention. And like I said, you can have studies all day long, and you can drag your feet and conduct studies all day long. I don't need no damn study to tell me what's going on the lakes around here, guys. I've fished these lakes for 50 years. My buddies have fished them for 50 years. We've all seen the same thing. We've all seen a reduction in the quality of fishing across the board, in the size of the fish across the board, because the same thing that's going on with crappie here, as far as the 70% increase on Livescope in correlation with anglers catching 2 to 3 times more fish than non-Livescopers, it also equates over to the bass angler community too. And make no mistake about it, here's one of the big denials of reality. There is a ton of bass anglers that still fillet and kill bass when they catch them on Livescope. I've seen it. I've talked to them at Table Rock over and over again. Don't think just because some dude has a bass boat and a cheater box up front that they're going to release all the bass they catch. They don't. And then a bunch of guys out there that are Livescoping these fish out over deep water, a lot of those fish die from barotrauma issues after they're caught out of deep water. Their internal organs, their eyes are damaged, from the excessive use of Livescope. Get rid of this damn piece of technology before it destroys our sport. We don't need it. Bass fishing was fine before this came along. It'll be fine after it goes away. We have got to start being responsible, and we've got to start using common sense here, and we've got to stop waiting and dragging our feet on these studies that are inconclusive a lot of times, because there's no way that you can accurately depict what is going on with the fisheries by some, throwing a gill net out there or shocking down to 8 feet of water. So anyway, guys, even though this is a half measure and it is for crappie, at least it brings it to the awareness. I mean, this was in some regional papers down there, so people are becoming familiar with it. I think you're going to start seeing an increase in limitations, reduction in creel limits. Again, all half measures. Let's do the right thing. Get it out of here. Just vote it out. It's like these fisheries managers, they have the ability to do that. They have the ability to affect legislation and pass laws that basically say this is not allowed in sport fishing. The same way that you can't use, infrared thermals and drones and all that type of stuff to hunt deer. It's no different. It's the same thing. And I just have a feeling that we're going to wait until it's too late. What you're probably going to see is you're going to see a decline in fisheries across the board. You're going to have a reduction in the people that fish because they're not being as successful. The industry is going to suffer. The fisheries are going to take a long time to recover because tournament organizations are not going to do the right thing. Obviously, the electronic companies, they have no desire whatsoever to do the right thing. And from my experience with the state conservation departments, because I've talked to a bunch of them, a lot of them are aware of the situation, but they're dragging their feet on it. There's no reason to take a chance. That's the thing about it. It's like, why take a chance? It's sort of like those dudes that do the free solo mountain climbing. Why take a chance? Why take a chance that you're up on the side of this mountain and a piece of rock's going to break off and you're going to fall 500 feet? Same with the Livescope. Same with this type of technology. We're playing with fire here. Let's be responsible. Let's be adults. Let's get rid of this type of stuff and ensure the sustainability of our fisheries for future generations. Because right now, there's no guarantee. As long as this technology is advancing, and as long as it's getting used by more people, and as long as it's getting more efficient in finding and catching the fish, our fisheries are in grave danger. Whether, if you want to believe the reality or deny the reality, it's up to you. So anyway, good step in the right direction. Let me know what you guys think. We'll talk later.